Imagine two brothers born on the exact same day in the exact same town. Same parents, same schools, same starting bank account of $0. One of them grows up to be comfortable, stable job, decent house, retires okay. The other one grows up to be genuinely wealthy, multiple properties, investments, financial freedom in his 40s. Same genes, same opportunities on paper. So what actually happened? That question, on a tiny personal scale, is basically the same question as this. How did the United States, a country that didn't even exist 250 years ago, become the richest nation in human history? And the answer isn't what most people think. It's not luck, it's not natural resources, it's not even hard work, because plenty of countries and plenty of people work incredibly hard and stay poor. The real answer? It's psychological. And once you understand it, you'll start seeing it everywhere in your own financial life. Let's set up the common myth first. Ask most people why America got rich, and you'll hear the same three answers. They had a lot of land. They had oil and resources. They got lucky with two oceans protecting them from wars. All partly true, but here's the problem with that theory. Russia has more land than the US. Brazil has incredible natural resources. Plenty of countries have had decades of peace. None of them turned into economic superpowers the way America did. So resources alone don't explain it. There has to be something else going on. It's the same mistake people make with money on a personal level. They think wealthy people got rich because they had more money to start with, or they got a lucky break, or they know some secret investment nobody else knows about. But when you actually study wealthy individuals, you find something surprising. Most of them didn't start with more money. They started with a different relationship to time, risk, and ownership. And that, it turns out, is exactly the hidden ingredient behind America's rise, too. So let's break it down, step by step, using ideas anyone can understand. Picture a small village, a few hundred years ago. In most of the world at that time, if you were born a farmer, you died a farmer. Your land usually belonged to a king, a noble, a landlord. You worked it, but you didn't really own it. Any extra effort, any extra profit just got taken from you. So why would you try harder? Why would you take a risk to build something new? You wouldn't. Most humans historically learned to just do enough to survive and nothing more, not because they were lazy, because the system gave them zero reason to build. Now flip that. Early America, especially for regular working-class settlers, offered something incredibly rare for that time in history: actual ownership. You could own land, you could start a business, you could keep the profit from your own labor instead of handing it to a lord. That single shift changes everything about human behavior. Think about it in a modern, relatable way. Imagine you work at a company where no matter how much extra effort you put in, your paycheck stays exactly the same. You'll probably do the minimum required, but now imagine you get a percentage of everything you help create. Suddenly you're staying late, pitching ideas, thinking like an owner instead of an employee. That's not a coincidence. That's basic human psychology. People invest energy where they believe they'll actually benefit from the result. America basically ran that second experiment on a massive scale for over 200 years with millions of people. Now let's add the second ingredient, the idea of borrowed time. Here's something most people don't think about. Building wealth almost always requires using resources you don't fully own yet and trusting that the future will pay you back. That's literally what a loan is. That's literally what an investment is. You use money now based on the belief that tomorrow will be more valuable than today. America built an entire financial system around this idea. Banks that would lend money to regular people to start farms and businesses, a stock market that let regular investors put small amounts of money into big, risky companies, railroads, factories, legal systems that protected people who took financial risks instead of punishing them if they failed. This is a massive psychological shift. In a lot of older societies, debt was seen as dangerous, shameful, something to avoid at all costs. And to be fair, reckless debt genuinely is dangerous. But America built a culture where calculated risk wasn't shameful, it was expected. Farmers borrowed money to buy more land, expecting a bigger harvest. Entrepreneurs borrowed to build factories, expecting bigger profits. Everyday people started believing that tomorrow could be bigger than today and building their financial decisions around that belief. Compare that to a mindset of pure scarcity, where people believe there's only a fixed amount of money in the world and the only way to get more is to take it from someone else. That mindset keeps individuals and entire countries stuck. America, for better or worse, built its identity around the opposite belief that value can be created, not just divided up. New businesses, new inventions, new industries, the pie itself can grow. Now here's where it gets really interesting, and this is the part most people miss completely. Ownership and risk-taking alone aren't enough. You also need one more ingredient: time combined with compounding. Let's use a simple, relatable example. Imagine two friends who both save the exact same amount of money every month, starting at age 25. Friend A puts that money under their mattress. Friend B puts that money into something that grows over time, a simple investment. At first, for the first few years, there's barely any difference between them. It's almost boring to watch. But give it 20, 30, 40 years, and the gap becomes enormous. Not because friend B worked harder, not because friend B was smarter, just because friend B let time and growth do the heavy lifting. This is the exact same principle behind America's rise too. Early industries like railroads, steel, oil, and later technology weren't just valuable because of the product they made in year one. They were valuable because profits got reinvested again and again, growing on top of themselves for decades. A factory makes profit. That profit builds a second factory. Those two factories make more profit, which builds a third and fourth. Multiply that pattern across an entire country, across 100 years, across millions of businesses and workers doing the exact same thing, and you get something that looks almost unbelievable from the outside: explosive, compounding growth. Most people, both individually and as entire nations, underestimate compounding because it's boring in the short term and incredible in the long term. Human brains are wired to notice immediate results, not slow, patient growth. That's exactly why so many people give up on saving or investing after just a year or two, when barely anything seems to be happening. America, as a system, was almost accidentally built around patience. Land ownership rewarded people who improved their property over years. Business ownership rewarded people who reinvested profits instead of spending them immediately. The financial system rewarded people who let their money sit and grow over time instead of withdrawing it right away. So zoom out and reveal the deeper insight here. Countries don't get rich just because of resources. People don't get rich just because of income. Wealth at every level comes from three specific ingredients working together. First, ownership, believing that what you build actually belongs to you, so effort feels worth it. Second, calculated risk, being willing to use today's resources for tomorrow's bigger reward instead of only playing it safe. And third, patience through compounding, letting small, consistent efforts or investment grow over a long period of time instead of expecting instant results. America built an entire culture and financial system around these three psychological principles at a massive scale, earlier than most of the world. That head start, repeated for generations, is what actually created the wealth gap between America and so much of the rest of the world. Not magic, not luck, just those three principles compounded over 2 centuries. Now here's the practical part, because this isn't just history trivia, this is a blueprint you can actually use in your own life. If you want to build wealth personally, you need those same 3 ingredients. You need to own something, whether that's a skill, a business, property, or investments, instead of only trading hours for a flat paycheck with no upside. You need to take calculated risks with your money, instead of leaving all of it sitting somewhere safe but stagnant, the same way that early settler mindset used borrowed resources today to create bigger value tomorrow. And you need patience. You need to let small, boring, consistent investing decisions compound quietly in the background for years, instead of chasing quick wins, or giving up after 18 months because nothing seems to be happening yet. This is genuinely why so many people struggle financially, even when they earn a decent income. They're missing one of these 3 ingredients. Maybe they own nothing, so all their effort just trades for a flat paycheck. Maybe they're too scared to ever take a calculated risk, so their money never grows. Or maybe they start investing but quit too early because compounding feels invisible at first. So here's the thought to leave you with. America didn't get rich because Americans were smarter or luckier than everyone else.
It got rich because generation after generation, enough people believed that what they built today would actually belong to them tomorrow, that a risk today could create something bigger later, and that patience would eventually pay off even when nothing seemed to be happening. Those aren't national secrets, they're personal habits. So the real question isn't just how a country got so rich, it's whether you're willing to build your own financial life on those same 3 ideas, starting today and staying patient long enough to actually see it work. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it and want to see more videos like this, please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel with your friends. Your support helps us create more great content. See you in the next video.